Bernie Sanders is everywhere. No one has been a more vocal or better leader in the fight against Donald Trump's administration, the oligarchy he has empowered, and really the oligarchy that helped him get elected since he was inaugurated. Bernie Sanders is willing to go any place, appear on any platform at any time to fight back. And the latest example of that is his appearance on the same podcast that Pete Buttigieg just went on, Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast, in which he quickly changed his and his co-host minds on a whole host of issues, calling out Donald Trump's lies. I can't wait to show you it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, there are a lot of lies that Bernie Sanders called out, but the first and most important was Donald Trump's most recent healthcare lie that I want to take a look at right here.
Yeah.
Speaking on healthcare, Trump recently signed an executive order to lower drug prices. How do you feel about that?
You believe what you saw in the paper? Not quite.
There's no way you've been living in Vermont for 50 years. That accent's not going nowhere.
What he did is say, we're going to give the drug companies a certain period of time to tell us how they're going to lower drug prices. And if they don't, we're going to do A, B, and C. We're not quite sure what A, B, and C will be. But the likelihood is that A, B, and C will be thrown out in the courts because the president doesn't have a right to tell companies how to fix prices. It just coincidentally, Bobby Kennedy, the secretary of HHS, was before the committee that I'm the ranking member of. And I asked Bobby, and I said, look, President talks about substantially lower prescription drug prices. You do. We're going to introduce legislation that will do just that. Right? And will you work with me? He said they will. So to answer your question, the president talks a lot. Don't believe what he says. We're going to put him to the test. We are going to bring forth legislation that would make sure that Americans don't pay a price any higher than people around the rest of the world. We'll see if they come.
So isn't a better framing of that, not to be contentious here, but like, isn't a better framing of that, hey, Trump is saying this thing we agree on. We agree with you, and we're going to hold you to your word instead of you're a liar.
That's what I'm doing.
Well,
if I didn't say it, that's exactly right.
Yeah, like I think that's like, because sometimes we get caught up in this partisan shit where it's like sometimes both sides agree, and it'd be nice if we at least get drug prices lower.
Trump's idea of substantially lowering prices is exactly right. It's exactly what I fought for years.
Yeah.
Okay? So if Trump is willing to work with us, we'll do it. Absolutely.
I mean,
think he will? Probably not. But I may be surprised.
And then if he doesn't, let's hold him to his word, and let's make sure he puts a pressure on those same senators that he would have primaried.
Exactly.
Like, this is what you're saying you want. You get your senators in line. Right? Actually, I don't know if you're like infringing on the democratic process by saying to do that, but like it would be really great, especially those of us who have like older parents who are really relying on these drugs right now.
Yes. But don't get me going on the drug industry.
Well, I kind of want to
get going. We want you to get going on everything.
Well, I got to get going to the airport to get a plane, as a matter of fact. But
we'll fly you private.
Yes. All right. There you go. All right. Look, you got a pharmaceutical industry that makes, $100 billion in profit last year. We had a guy before the committee, CEO of a major company, makes $50 million a year. They do stock buybacks. So, it is and meanwhile, the same medicine that you buy in this country, whether it's Ozempic or Wegovy, whatever it may be, it is in some cases 5-8 times more expensive than it is in Canada or in Europe.
It's insane.
It is insane. Of course it's insane. And they do it because they can do it. Because we are the only, you know why they do it? All right, question. You know how many paid lobbyists there are for the drug companies in Washington, D.C.? Take a guess.
200, 500.
15,000.
1,500. All right? So you got 535 members of Congress, 1,500. These are former leaders of the Democratic Party.
Right.
So that's a lot of power. And then their campaign contributions. So up until Biden, and I work with Biden on this, we have never, what other countries do is say, good, you got a drug, that's great. Let's negotiate the price you're going to charge us, right? That's what they do, every other country on earth. For us, you got a drug, you charge any price you want, doesn't matter. For the first time, what we did is now have a law that says we are going to negotiate, Medicare will negotiate drug prices. We started off with 10, it'll be expanding. Is it enough? No. Is it a start? Yes, it is.
I am so glad that Bernie Sanders is addressing this distraction, right? This kind of shiny object that Donald Trump is kind of trying to throw at us, saying, oh, look, I've signed this executive order. I'm going to make sure that prescription drug prices are lower, something I did the opposite on day one of my administration when I reversed actions of Joe Biden's presidency that actually did lower prescription drug prices. And it's funny, we saw Congressman Ro Khanna introduce this same exact piece of legislation, the executive order that Donald Trump claims is going to fix everything, which of course is a lie, into Congress. Ro introduced it. Are Republicans going to pass it? Of course they're not, because they do not care. I am so glad Bernie is pointing this out, because as he said, if he didn't, the media would just continue to push the lie that Trump actually cares. Of course he doesn't. It's always about distracting people so he can do more in serving his billionaire buddies, which is part of what Bernie called out right here.
But what we have to do, I'll give you an example, and what also bothers me is we don't look at what goes on around the rest of the world. We kind of think that we're an island unto ourselves. What we should be doing is what is working around the rest of the world. So you take a country like Finland. To be a teacher is a big deal in Finland. Wow, you're a teacher. It's like being a doctor in this country. People respect them. They're well paid. They have a lot of autonomy, etc. But all that I'm saying here is that if you look at the fundamental institutions in America, healthcare, education, childcare, distribution of wealth in America, we are not doing well. And it's important that we acknowledge that. So, I mean, nobody, you talk about your very kind introductions and, talking about things that others don't talk about. How many people will talk about the reality that Elon Musk himself owns more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households? Is that a moral issue? Are we comfortable with that?
Wow.
It's a simple question. And there are some people who say, hey, yeah, that's okay. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Elon's a brilliant guy. He's a hard-working guy. And other billionaires start their own companies. They're really bold and brave. Fine. They deserve it. And if you are trying to get by on $40,000 a year, well, tough crap.
How do you think Elon feels about it?
I don't know him.
addressed that?
I've only talked to him many years ago, so I don't know him personally. But I'll tell you what I do think. I think there is a new breed of uber capitalists out there who really believe, and they write about this as well, who really believe that they are superior human beings. I'm telling you, this is the quote-unquote high IQ guys who say, look, we work hard, we're smart, we have started these businesses.
To the victor go the spoils.
Not only that, I think that's yes. It's a dog-eat-dog world. I made it.
Yeah.
You didn't make it. Hey, man, that's the way life goes. It's deeper than that. You have some writing on the far right, which really diminishes democracy, and that really the smart and the wealthy and the powerful have the right to rule. So this is not just, I want a tax break. There's nothing new about that.
Yeah.
This is, we have the right. It's the divine, used to be the divine rights of kings.
Or manifest destiny.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Back in the 19th century, the 1850s, I am the king. God made my family king, and sorry you're starving to death, but that's the way life goes. God told me my family rules.
The greed that billionaires have in America is a disease. Bill Burr, who is a great comedian who is just going off and calling out Elon lately, and much to Elon's chagrin, compared them to rabid dogs. These are people obsessed with numbers without real meaning. I don't fundamentally know the difference between 80 and 81 billion dollars. I don't know how that changes your life, how there is any level of improvement after the first bill. It seems like an unfathomable amount of money that you could never spend. So the fact that they're just competing and putting our lives at risk in doing so to make more unspendable amounts of money just shows this isn't about innovation or improvement. This is about their own ego and power, and using that power to buy elections so that they can become even richer for the purpose of, you guessed it, their ego. And on that note of buying elections, Bernie was calling out our broken campaign finance system in this clip right here.
The Supreme Court ruled that billionaires, that advertising is freedom of speech, and you can't limit my speech. So if I want to spend $100 million on TV ads, I have the right to do it. They say, you're right. So the issue is democracy versus billionaires being able to spend unlimited sums of money. Supreme Court went with that. And then the form it took was what's called a super PAC. You start an organization, Americans for Freedom, okay? And billionaires can put as much money as they want into that. That organization then runs ads on television. It does political stuff. That's what it's about. So bottom line, though, most importantly, is if you are a billionaire, you can put as much money as you want into a super PAC. And in Musk's case, he spent $270 million to help Donald Trump get elected president. Do Democrats have billionaires putting money into super PACs? Absolutely. All right. What does that mean in real life? This is what it means. Right now, we're dealing with a bill called the Reconciliation Bill. It's a fancy Washington term for a very big bill, which will have a lot of stuff in it. In any case, if a Republican stands up and says, you know what, in the House of Representatives, I don't like this bill because, it's giving tax breaks to very wealthy people and it's going to cut Medicaid and cut nutrition programs. It's a bad bill. What do you think happens the day after that Republican stands up and says he opposes it?
Those super PACs organize and they primary out those politicians.
Exactly.
Now, and how effective is that?
It is enormously effective. If you have, right now you're a Republican.
Yeah.
You got to.
Wait, what?
All right, no, I don't mean you. I'm being in
it's going to
general
go
sense.
viral.
All right. So you have two elements. Trump is enormously popular within the Republican base.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has unlimited sums of money. Right?
Double whammy.
Double whammy.
I'm going to say something that's not going to come as a surprise to you, but I think we need more people like Bernie. I think we need more Democrats who are able to go and speak on these platforms, speak to these issues, change people's minds, and speak in a way in which normal people who are willing to listen to a almost 2-hour conversation like this one will resonate with. Pete Buttigieg did such an incredible job, but we do not yet have the power to clone him or Bernie. So until that day, we need to see more Democrats stepping up. I have loved the fight that we have seen out of so many, the unapologetic way they're communicating. But we also need to see not just the very impactful short form snippets. We need to expand that out and take that to places that we traditionally don't. And Bernie's leading the way. We're going to support him. If you want to support us, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.